Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Well, we got a Game 7, very exciting stuff, but I gotta tell you, I'm really upset about watching what the Heat are doing on offense. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They're running a lot of 5 out, spread them out, hoping that one guy can make a play. When you watch the Pacers work as a 5-man unit, creating great shots and exploiting matchups. And it's as if the Heat aren't watching the tape and realizing what plays work best, because they keep running the same sort of stuff that is ineffective against the very good defense that the Pacers are running against them. So it's a bit of a rant for me here, but when I see this kind of play, it really gets me frustrated. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Heat deserve much better from the coaching staff and from the players, because they're not coming to play. They didn't play with the kind of energy and urgency they needed in a Game 6. They kind of played like they assumed, well, we'll play Game 7 at home and win that one. And I got to tell you, if you're going to play that way, it can bite you in the butt. This is the 5-out set the Heat have been running so inefficiently. It's what they do most, and they don't even run it that well. Bosh doesn't make contact on the screen, this pin down takes way too long to get going, and Wade settles for a long, inefficient contested 2. The Heat try and run horns, but rather than get the ball moving, they do a screen and roll for Chalmers into the teeth of the defense. Another quick contested and inefficient long 2. Here's more of their 5-out stand around the perimeter with Bosh as wandering screener. They actually get Paul George to help on the roll man off of LeBron James. This is a problem because, one, you don't want to ever help off LeBron, and he's one pass away. Bosh's roll brings his man right to help. Indiana's defense falls asleep, however, but the Heat still only get a long 2 out of this. To make matters worse, the Heat aren't in position to get back, and Wade simply cannot stop Paul George in the open court. Here's a terrific set they hardly ran at all last night. A zipper cut by Wade and a flare screen to the left wing for LeBron. This frees him up to get going to the basket for a layup, but this is a weak finish and it misses. On the other end, the Pacers have destroyed the Heat's pick and roll defense no matter where the screen is set. Even though they almost get the steal, because they're so hyper aggressive on the ball, the weak side defenders must rotate and stare at it. Haslam has no idea where Hibbert is until it's too late. There is nothing he can do. And LeBron was disengaged on defense last night. While normally Stevenson would get a ball screen going to his left, he simply blows right by LeBron for the layup and gets the Kobe assist. Another new wrinkle in the Pacers' offense is this back screen for Hill, who then turns around and sets a screen for George before getting a flex-like down screen. This has pulled the Heat defense way out of position for the pocket pass. Notice Dwayne Wade foolishly overhelping on the drive, leaving Paul George wide open for the easy baseline jumper. The Pacers even borrowed a play from the 2010 Mavericks with this double ball screen. Instead of getting the wide open 3 from the Dirk position, they roll Hibbert to the hoop. Anthony makes no attempt to front the post, and he has little hope of stopping this hook. Let's move to the third quarter, where the Pacers went on a huge 21-4 run that basically decided this game. The Heat are stuck with their no-movement 5-man out set. Bosh wanders to set the screen, but comically slips it with 3 Pacers surrounding him. Wade isolates and tosses up a long 2. Can you hear me shaking my head? Because the Heat have to front Hibbert, they need to help on the backside with Chalmers. No pressure on the ball allows this easy skip pass, and Hill does a nice move to get to the hoop and pull up for the floater. The Heat turn to horns, where they usually get good shots. Notice how they have to have Haslam in the corner, a position normally occupied by a wing player. He's clearly unsure what to do, and all they get is a contested 17-footer. The Heat run their usual sideline screen and roll for Chalmers, hoping he can make a play for someone, but he simply steps out of bounds. The Heat defense has no energy. LeBron doesn't pressure the ball. Bosh is concerned about the lob, but it's not his job since his man is 1 pass away. When West gets the ball, a simple inside-out dribble gets him an open step-back jumper. The Heat do a little pinch post action and get a nice cut by LeBron to the basket and a post-up. He's got great position to pin Paul George deep, but instead comes 20 feet away to receive the ball. Very little weak-side movement allows the help defense to cheat over, and he settles for a very bad shot. Lance Stevenson has been terrible at feeding the post, and this possession is no exception. Chalmers gets away with a double dribble, and Dwayne Wade gets right to the hoop but just blows the layup. No one talks on the Pacers and lets Chalmers sneak in to steal it from Paul George, who shouldn't be dribbling with the inside hand anyway. Chalmers embarrasses himself by missing this layup, and the Pacers come right back down the court, miss their own layup, but get the foul on the putback. Crazy sequence of non-fundamental basketball all around. LeBron James didn't live up to his billing as the best player on the planet with some of these plays. This is a flop that will most likely cost him serious money. The Heat run horns with Bosh in the corner this time, but again it's very stagnant. LeBron just doesn't seem interested, and Chalmers airballs a 10-footer. Ugh. Remember in Game 5 that this was how LeBron got the Heat going, by setting strong screens, posting up down low, and then hitting shots. Here's more evidence of Bosh being a poor rebounder who doesn't mix it up inside, particularly with a bruiser like David West out there. The Pacers break back into their high pick and roll, and based on what we've seen of the Heat defense, I think it's LeBron who needs to come over and stop the roll man. He can give up a Stevenson 3 if the alternative is to force Haslam to rotate and give up the layup to Hibbert. With the Heat reeling, they need a great shot. Do they screen for LeBron flashing to the free throw line? How about horns for a good shot? A LeBron post up? Nope. They run 5 out and now have to rely on guys like Haslam and Chalmers to create something for themselves. This is an awful call, as the ref is out of position and can't call something that clearly didn't happen. With another chance, the Heat stand around on offense, making it very easy to defend. While they get an open three-pointer for LeBron, and even an offensive board on the long rebound, they go right back to 5 out, relying on Haslam to be the creator. This is a bad idea on so many levels, my friends. Finally, the Heat call a play that gets some movement with an outside ball screen for LeBron, who then turns and gets an inside ball screen. This gets LeBron in the lane before kicking it to Wade for a wide open 3. Too little, too late. Another new wrinkle to the Pacers offense, borrowing a page from the Utah Jazz of Stockton and Malone. Hill cuts off a West screen, then turns around and screens for West. This all becomes a prelude to Hibbert moving from a high ball screen to the left low block. Stevenson ignores great position by Hibbert, but hits Paul George for a clutch deep 3 with Dwayne Wade just looking on. Heat run the same play again, and this time LeBron makes the decision to hit Bosh on the roll. Fantastic anticipation from West, who had sagged low on the ball screen. This turns into a foul on LeBron. The Heat are about to kiss this game goodbye unless they can get some good shots. So they turn to their two-man game with Chalmers and Bosh. The ball never swings and never finds the two best offensive players they have before Chalmers throws it away, and Paul George gets a generous goaltending call from the refs. With this lineup, the Heat are in trouble if they want to run horns because you've got Joel Anthony in the weak side corner, although it does keep Hibbert slightly honest. They get an open Wade cutting through, but LeBron just throws it away. The Heat turn to a play they ran a lot in Game 1, a double ball screen for Cole going to the sideline. This does get Ray Allen an open look, but the dude is shooting 29% from there. Next, Miami goes to a set they had success with in Game 3 where Ray Allen screens for LeBron. The problem is LeBron doesn't wait for it and the screen is ineffective. This becomes 5 out again, and Stevenson helps too far with Wade one pass away. It doesn't matter with Joel Anthony in there since Hibbert can ignore him and contest Wade's shot at the rim. Wade is having one of his worst games he's ever had. Indiana has no problem hammering away at what clearly works, screening high with Hibbert, then rolling into the hoop. Anthony decides to play behind him, and this isn't going to work. No double team by Miami, and Hibbert gets the layup. Watch LeBron allow Hansbrough to get this rebound. This is not the kind of effort that wins games. Later in the fourth, you'll see the same Allen ball screen for LeBron that gets him a layup. The precedent has now been set that the refs will allow the defender to jump straight up and not call a foul on him. Meanwhile, the Heat adjusted to the Hibbert post-up by doubling him. Hibbert swings it back out, and LeBron James does not do his job by rotating up to Paul George to contest this 3. If you don't believe me, here's Spoelstra telling him he should have gotten out there. And here's another example of LeBron not being aggressive enough down low to grab this rebound, letting David West out-hustle and muscle everyone for the putback. The Pacers simply want it more than the Heat. We already showed you how the refs will allow the defender to jump straight up. Granted, calling this on LeBron is pretty ridiculous, but his reaction is nothing short of outrageous and childish. And it's nothing new. We saw this kind of outburst in Game 5 too. So there you have it, sports fans. I think that LeBron James has let his team down with the way he played in Game 6. He didn't come out with the kind of energy and intensity he needed, and the rest of the team followed suit. They run this ridiculous 5-out way too much. They also do these plays where they let guys like Chalmers and Cole dictate the offense when they need baskets. They need to be able to run the offense through LeBron, and if he's not going to go down low and post up, I just give up. The guy is dominating down there, and he won't go down and post up and be strong. He's settling for jump shots. Dwayne Wade looks like he's a shell of himself with his knee, and Chris Bosh won't get a rebound for the life of him. And so now you have a situation where they're losing their minds with this call that they went against him. They were cutting the lead. They were about to take over that game and win the series. But instead, LeBron James goes running around like a madman child, little guy who got his toy taken away from him. And Fizdale gets a technical on the bench. There's no excuse ever for an assistant coach to ever get a technical foul. Gave them 2 free throws, and that was basically what stemmed the tide, and they got control of the game. So here it is. LeBron has completely let the Heat down in Game 6. You turn an ankle, somebody gets some cramps, who knows what's going to happen in the Game 7, and it's over. And by the way, if they don't make it into the finals and they lose to the Indiana Pacers in Game 7 of the conference finals, you have to imagine that Spoelstra might be on the hot seat. And I wouldn't blame them for what they did on offense and how they didn't adjust defensively to let the Pacers light them up with an incredible offensive rating through 6 games. It's really coaching criminality. Well, that's my rant. Don't miss us after Game 7 of our post-game show. We'll probably do a half-game show as well because it went over quite well. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?